Welcome back to qualifying, where we're waiting for the lights to turn green in the pit lane to signify the start of the session here at the Hockenheim Ring for this weekend's German Grand Prix. Drivers tend to complain about tyre wear around this track, and the compounds on offer this weekend aren't likely to put that issue to bed. Is this going to be about who can make the tyres last?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
Hello everyone and welcome back today for round 11 out of 21 here at the Sebastian Vettel career mode. You join us for Germany, the Hockenheim Ring, where we'll be going out very shortly for our one-shot quali lap. Obviously, you all know it's Sebastian Vettel's home race here at Germany after, well, he didn't have the best of runs a few years ago, and then got himself from last to P2. So an impressive performance from him, and let's see what we can do now here at this rather overcast qualifying session. It's not set to rain for the race, but all quali, so hopefully it'll be a nice dry session that we can negotiate and, you know, get through with ease. And coming into the hairpin now, second gear. I don't tend to take it in first, but you know, second kind of just suits me ish. Well, yeah, it does. But now into the middle parts of the track. It's quite a short track time actually, only about 1 minute something teen. We'll find out when we cross the line, so we go quite wide actually, but we are still set for pole position. There is a Mercedes behind us, I don't know which Mercedes it is, and we currently lead the championship by the way by 9 points over Lewis Hamilton, so the gap came down after our disappointing finish last week, but we're going to come across the line to P2, getting jumped by Lewis Hamilton after running wide a little bit.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Hamilton, Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So missing out on pole by less than a tenth there. That's rather unfortunate. 1 minute 12.5. It's a good time, but not the best. But it's good enough for second place. Our teammate getting fourth. So let's see what we can do as a team. Hopefully extend our gap at the top in the constructors. And let's get into the race. Round number 11 of the 2019 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. Here with Sebastian Vettel. See ya!
Race day is upon us once again. I've got a feeling we're in for a special one today. With average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour, the Hockenheim Ring is a quick circuit with a lap distance of 2.8 miles, around 17 corners. The main DRS zone through Parabolica leads into the hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Perez, Norris, Magnussen and Carlos Sainz, Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Roman Grosjean, and Stroll, Gasly, Kvyat, Daniel Ricciardo, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
Right then, we're on the grid now for the German Grand Prix. It's going to be a simple one-stop, as always in these races, and sat behind Valtteri Bottas. We've got 4 or 5 red lights and it's lights out, and away we go. And it's a good start from Bottas actually, who pulls up alongside us in the run to turn 1. We're going to have the inside line there. We do keep the position, but he's still there on the left-hand side, and the Mercedes try not to defend too much, and we can hopefully close the gap down to Lewis Hamilton in this race and try and get back the first position that we just lost out on in qualifying. We're going to pull it up into Rich, and we're going to use the overtake mode on the ERS to try and get in his slipstream, and we're going to pull over to the left-hand side. It will be the outside for the hairpin. Into second gear, we're going to try and hold it round the outside of the British driver, and we do get it done, but he's still there on the right-hand side. We're going to have to leave him the room, as we actually go so wide, actually too wide. And we continue to go side by side into the Mercedes grandstand. We're going to try and hold it around the outside, and this is a dangerous place to go side by side into. Hopefully he'll back out. He doesn't back out, only because we've gone wide, and that's allowed Bottas, Hamilton and our teammate to go through. However, we have the inside line on our teammate and keep third position. A silly mistake from us, but now we've got to try and find a rhythm in this race. Go wide on the final corner like we've done in quali. It's not been my greatest of starts to a Grand Prix, as we lose the rear a little bit on exit. Through turn 2, now turn 3 onto the straight. We're going to pull it all the way up to hot lap to try and close the gap to Valtteri Bottas, who's actually going to have a go on his teammate here, Lewis Hamilton. He's going to go to the inside. Maybe we can capitalise on these two battling. We're going to brake at our normal braking point, but the two Mercedes drivers don't hold each other up too much. It's their home Grand Prix. My home Grand Prix, well, Seb's home Grand Prix, not my personal home Grand Prix. And Bottas has got the move on Lewis Hamilton. Very nice from him, but that's allowed us to catch back up to the two Mercedes. Currently running in first and second, as we're approaching sector 3 now on the second lap. We'll be starting lap 3 out of 17 soon. We still do have Charles Leclerc right behind us. Hopefully he can, score some good points for the Ferrari team. We do run a little bit wide on exit that we're going to have to watch out for that. So we're going to be pitting lap 5 then, it looks like. Yeah, lap 5 as we exceed turn 1, but we're going to go for a move on Lewis anyway. Round the outside we go. Can't quite get the move, but we will have the we will have the DRS onto the straight. He'll also have the DRS, and I believe our teammate will also have the DRS. And we've got past Lewis. Will we get past Bottas, who's going to have to try and defend, but the DRS and the slipstreams are so powerful that we swoop past him before the apex. And that's going to promote us up into the lead of the German Grand Prix, followed by Bottas, Hamilton and Leclerc. Then I believe it's Max Verstappen, the leading Red Bull, into a tricky right-hander actually, which is quite fast and really easy to turn in too early or too late and get onto the curbs and spin or go wide onto the gravel. Quite a difficult corner actually, but hopefully we don't make any mistakes in this race, as we do run a little bit wide again through the final corner.
We're leading our teammate by 1.6 seconds.
And we're now on lap 4. We will be pitting on lap 5. Now it's our turn to do some defending on the straight, the main overtaking point on this track. We are going to pull it up into high actually, try and save a little bit of the ERS in the straight. I'm going to put it back down to low, and Bottas is gaining quite a lot actually on us on the straight, he will have the DRS. Doesn't decide to go for a move as he too far back from the position, and now he's going to be trying gaining on us. We've still got Lewis Hamilton right behind him, so he's going to be someone to look out for as well. We do lead the way in the championship with 182 points, but he's only 9 points behind us on 173. So it's still really close at the top between us two. Bottas and Leclerc are kind of there or thereabouts, but they're not right at the top with us. So I would say a few 30-40 points maybe behind. So we're about to start lap 5 out of 17 now. We will be pitting this lap, and we will get the confirmation from Jeff as we cross the line, I'm sure.
In this lap, push now.
There it is. It's the "in this lap, push now" phrase that he uses. Apologies about the mic. What are the tyres looking like there? They're a little bit worn, but it's only a 25% race. We don't need to worry about getting a puncture or anything. We're going to put it up into overtake mode, and hopefully Bottas won't get the run with his DRS. He's actually dropped quite far back, actually, almost under pressure from Lewis Hamilton, and he is actually under threat from Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's pulling alongside. He's going to be on the outside. Will he make the move stick? And he does, round the outside, which will be the inside for the Mercedes grandstand, and he gets the move on his teammate, who currently has the fastest lap of the race. So Bottas will be getting an extra point as it stands. And Jeff just reminding us that we are going to be boxing this lap. Are they going side by side? No, they're not. Sector split was 0.077. I thought they were going side by side, but Bottas decides to back out of it there. As I wonder which of the two leading Mercedes will come into the pits. I'm going to reckon it'll be Hamilton. Neither of them. So we're going to be the first of everyone to pit, actually. I don't know if anyone else will follow us in, but our strategy said pit lap 5. Hopefully the Ferrari team don't let us down again. We've seen the Ferrari let us down in the past, ignoring the British Grand Prix. That was our fault. But we're going to come out ahead of the two Williamses, thankfully, but behind our rival Antonio Giovinazzi. We've had a few collisions when we've been behind him. Let's hope we can get past him this time without any damage, and cleanly this time, as currently in P18, but everyone else is going to be making a pit stop. So in the next 2 or 3 laps we will be seeing the AI make their pit stops. Might see our teammates pit this lap, and then one of the Mercedes will come in, and then the next lap we'll see the other drivers of the other teammates make their pits and run and only stop. But yeah, we're onto the medium tyres now, the yellow striped tyre. I believe everyone else around us is on the red soft tyre. They're the tyre that they started on, so we're going to be much quicker than them, because they're obviously going to have, pretty high tyre wear. As our teammate Charles Leclerc's in the pits, followed by one of the Mercedes, I think is Valtteri Bottas, but I'm not too sure. We'll find out when we come across the line. And you can see all the AI coming into the pit now. So we do have the DRS on Antonio Giovinazzi. Maybe we can make a move into turn 2, as we've got such a good run on him, and it looks like it's going to be a clean overtake this time down the inside. And there is the position for P8 in this race. Next up is Pierre Gasly. We aren't going to have the DRS this time, but Antonio Giovinazzi will have the DRS. Hopefully he doesn't go for the move. Hopefully our Ferrari powered engine with overtake is enough to hold the Alfa Romeo behind on those worn soft tyres. Thankfully he doesn't go for a late move, and we're able to keep P8 in this race. And interestingly, we've come out quite far ahead of the Mercedes and our teammate. You can see there on the mini-map there's quite a big gap formed between us, maybe 3 seconds or something. So that's really interesting to see that the undercut has worked, and that the AI trying to do the overcut just really hasn't worked for them. So the other Mercedes who has stayed out, it's going to be interesting to see where they come out. Giovinazzi's got an issue with his car. That's unfortunate for him, as hopefully all these drivers will come into the pits like they do, and we can push on with our race. We are going to have DRS. We were a second behind, and now we do have the DRS. it was Bottas who actually pitted second. Lewis was the leader Mercedes to come in, and the gap's quite big actually between myself and Mercedes.
The car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
So Jeff just confirming that the car behind is on the mediums, and we seem to be leading this race as Hamilton does get past his teammate on the straights. I'm sure those positions will change in the hairpin. Oh no, Hamilton does get the move stick down the inside, so good move from him. As we are now going to try and get the fastest lap of the race on these fresh mediums while we can. We had the help of DRS at the start. We are a 10.5 up on our personal best on the soft tyres. I'm not sure though if we're going to be able to do it through the sector 3 section of the track. We'll have to wait and see as we come through the penultimate corner, now into the final corner, and it's going to be an improvement of about a 10.5, 7 tenths actually. Wow, so we found all the time through the final sector, and that's a new fastest lap of 1:14.6. not a bad lap time indeed, as we've completely obliterated turn 2. But not to worry, we are leading this race by 3.2 seconds, 3.6 seconds, sorry, over Lewis Hamilton. Currently halfway through this race, and we've got yellow flags in sector 2. I believe it's a Red Bull, maybe? No, it's the McLaren of Carlos Sainz. So every race, we seem to have had a driver retire from a technical difficulty. Really unfortunate. I don't think we've had any. I think we've had one terminal damage retirement, and that was Kvyat at Monaco. If you haven't watched it, go check that race out. But while we're leading this race, I'm going to take this moment to just, request that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you do. Just hit that like button.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
Thanks, Jeff.
Caution, caution.
Thanks, Jeff. As you can see, there's the stricken McLaren of Sainz.
Green flag.
And we're now on lap 10 out of 17, so almost, we've only got 7 laps to go in this race. And it's all looking good from us. Our championship rivals actually dropped down to 4th place. So excellent for us. He's only going to be scoring 12 points, whereas we are going to be scoring a full 26 as it stands, which will extend our gap at the front to 22 points if it finishes as it is. Now on to lap 11 out of 17, and we still lead this race by 3.4 seconds over Valtteri Bottas and Leclerc. Good to see our teammate getting back onto the podium. But yeah, we're winning Vettel's home Grand Prix. Everything's going great. We do have the fastest lap of the race after pitting earlier than the other drivers, so the undercuts worked for us massively here. And we can just control the race, and Leclerc actually, our teammate Charles, got past Valtteri Bottas, who's also been overtaken by Hamilton, so both drivers obviously would have had the DRS and have just swooped past Bottas, who was almost a sitting duck on the straight, you could say, without the DRS, and Leclerc and Hamilton have got past him. So let's hope that they can, let's hope we can get 1-2 for Ferraris. We do knock a little bit of our front wing off from the wall. It's not that bad, but yeah, my mistake. Tried to maximise the track limits and then hit the barrier on the left hand side. I'm sure I'm not the first person to do that in this game. Oh dear, that's going to be a corner cut. Yep. Sorry. Sorry, track limits. But I'm going to give the people what I don't know if the people want. We're going to get some first person gameplay going on here. Let's see what this looks like. To be honest, I'd actually kind of like the first person camera. I do like having the halo bit in the middle. I do apologise if it upsets anyone. But yeah, I respect people who race in first person. Let's look at that delta just rise. Whoopsie, but anyway, we're still leading this race. Very calm, very cool, calm as you like. Virgil van Dijk. We're gonna win. I'm sorry to sort of spoiler alert, but we're gonna win. And what could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong in this race? We've got everything under control. We're winning by 4.2 seconds. We have the fastest lap. It's just, you know, we're going to win. It's lap 13 now out of the 17 laps that there are in this race. Still got the fastest lap of the race, and all is going very well. I hope you guys are enjoying this Sebastian Vettel career mode. If you haven't watched Australia, then I kind of explained why we're doing this, but you've all heard the news of Sebastian Vettel is leaving Ferrari. We don't know if he's going to join another team yet. That's not been announced by the time that this has been uploaded, but oh sorry, recorded I should say. When I'm recording this, Vettel hasn't joined the team. And we're trying to get him one last championship, his 5th championship, before he leaves. Well, potentially could leave the sport in total. And forever, so it's a shame to see him leave, but you know, he hasn't been doing his best at Ferrari. I'm not sure Ferrari particularly like him very well, to be honest. He said there was a disagreement within the team and now they have to move on, so fortunate to see him go, but we're going to go back up into my standard camera, the one I usually race with. Get a warning for exceeding track limits. I'm sure Jeff will be over the radio complaining if I do keep this up here. The stewards will award us a penalty. But Germany, one of my favourite tracks I'd say on the calendar. Let me know what your favourite tracks are in the comments section below. I'd say my top tracks have got to be Germany, Silverstone, Brazil maybe, yeah, like Brazil. What else? Austria's a good one. Spa maybe, I do like a bit of Spa. I'd say my least favourite, and I think probably most of the population would agree with me, is Russia. The Sochi Grand Prix. I'm not sure if many people are a fan of that. But Abu Dhabi, I'm not a huge fan of Abu Dhabi. France, 50-50 with me. It's not my favourite, it's not my worst, least favourite, but it's like neutral, whatever. What else? I don't have many tracks that I hate. Japan I don't like, but I don't not like it. It's just, you know, it's a nice track, I'll admit it, but I don't particularly like it too much. But I don't hate it, it's kind of like a 5 on a 1 to 10. We've almost finished this race actually, lap 15 out of 17. Coming through sector 3 now, and we've got a 4.1 second lead, so the gap is staying like consistently high to Leclerc behind us, who's doing well in the Ferrari, but it seems to be a battle for second place between himself and the two the two Mercedes. Just stuck in that DRS trains. So we get a penalty actually for extreme track limits, and the gap's 3.8 seconds to Leclerc. So we're actually gonna have to put the foot down now and try and get a bit of a gap, so we don't lose first place on penalties. That'd be a shame. The gap up to 4.2 seconds now, so the delta is really fluctuating between 3.8 and 4. I've noticed. Into the hairpin now, up to high to try and get the acceleration, then back down to low to save the ERS, and then braking just before the grass goes to concrete on the right hand side. The left and to the right, the Mercedes grandstand can sometimes afford to run it a little bit wide, and then braking just as oh, didn't mean to do that. The wall sticks out on the right, and then my braking board is like an orange marker on the right hand side wall. That's where I used to brake for that corner. And into the final corner, there's not really a braking point there, you just got to wing it. And then into the final corner, I've noticed Leclerc's dropped into 4th place, but that might not be such a bad position from him if he's going to have the slipstream and DRS off the two Mercedeses. We get a warning for extreme track limits. We do have to keep the gap above 3 seconds, so as it stands we will win this race by 1.5 seconds. Unless the AI unlikely have any penalties. Now onto the straights, which is not a straight because it turns left, but it's basically a straight. And into the hairpin, braking by the AstroTurf, just literally millimetres before the 100-metre board. Let's see if Hamilton or Bottas get change positions. They do. Hopefully Leclerc can get involved in that, but on the right hand side, braking just as the grass changes to concrete, and then you can ride the curb a little bit there into the sweeping right hander, which I think I've ran wide almost every time, and then braking into 6th gear, sometimes 5th gear, depends on how slow and wide I go, and then braking down to gear 3, careful not to hit the curb on the left hand side. That can cause the car to go into a spin. But after 17 laps we qualified in 2nd place in the front row of the grid. We overtook Hamilton pretty early on in the race, and we are going to come round the final corner to win the German Grand Prix.
Nice work, that's P1. Race win. Well done.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
And there you have it, that's been the German Grand Prix. We do come out on top with Lewis Hamilton and Bottas on the podium. Pretty good race. I mean, we had an action-packed start with the fight with the two Mercedes, and but yeah, we were able to control the pace after the pit stops, and that managed to get us the win.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Sebastian Vettel will be very happy with that result as he extends his championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So there you have it. Sebastian Vettel wins the German Grand Prix, followed by Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas on the podium. Charles Leclerc just misses out in 4th place, followed by Max Verstappen and Alex Albon. Sergio Perez, the leading Racing Point, in 7th place, followed by Hülkenberg and Kimi Räikkönen. Kevin Magnussen rounds out the top 10 in the Haas, followed by Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. Lance Stroll in 13th, Pierre Gasly and Daniel Kvyat in 15th, followed by Russell and Kubica, not finishing last for once, and Roman Grosjean and Tony Giovinazzi rounds off the grid in 18th and 19th, with Carlos Sainz the only car to retire with a technical fault. On to the standings then. We move further up to the grid. We move further up the standings to our 17-point gap with 208 points, as no one else actually made any inroads on anyone, so everyone keeping their position. In terms of the constructors side, we do extend the gap to 19 points, with Alfa Romeo getting ahead of Haas after not a good performance from the Haas team, but 1 point separates them two, and McLaren are chasing down Racing Point, while Red Bull are slowly falling off the back of Mercedes. But that has been the German Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, where you'll join us next time for the Italian Grand Prix.